annals of American crime, few figures are as famous as Sam Bass, the outlaw notorious for his terrorist exploits in the Old West in the late 1800s. Sam Bass is buried in the cemetery at Old Round Rock. A small memorial was erected over his grave by an older sister. Sam Bass is one of the most notorious and feared criminals in the history of the Old West. His daring train robberies and bank robberies captured the public imagination and transformed him into a legendary figure of the Wild West.
Sam Bass lingered with a bullet in his side. He was laid to rest in the shade of an oak, and the last words that he spoke, "This world is trouble, trouble wherever you go." A gravestone marks a life cut short at 27.
Today, Sam Bass, Seaborn Barnes, and Frank Jackson have become hometown folk heroes to many. They have been integrated into the romanticized version of a Wild West outlaw that Hollywood and our own imaginations have created. But let's not only remember the outlaws. There are two sides to the story. Williamson County Deputy Sheriff A.W. Grimes was killed in the line of duty by the Sam Bass gang on July 1878.
Bass and his gang were scouting the area before the robbery. They bought some tobacco at a store, and they were noticed by Williamson County Deputy Sheriff A.W. Grimes. When Grimes approached the men to request that they surrender their firearms, he was shot and killed, and a gunfight ensued. As Bass attempted to flee, he was shot by Texas Ranger agents George Harold and Sergeant Richard Ware. None of the Texas Rangers knew what any of the Bass gang looked like. In fact, Sergeant Ware had to have the informant, Jim Murphy, identify the body of gang member Seaborn Barnes, as no one else knew who the man was. Ware himself stated that he had seen the same three men earlier in town. Bass was eventually found, lying in a pasture west of Round Rock, by Williamson County Deputy James Tucker. He was taken into custody and died the next day, on July 21, 1878, his 27th birthday.
Grimes left behind a wife, Charlotte, and 3 children, Elizabeth, Benjamin, and Mabel. Charlotte was given $200 and one of the horses from the Sam Bass gang as compensation for the loss of her husband. Deputy Sheriff A.W. Grimes will be remembered fondly for his courage and the legacy that he left behind.